clearly frames is your biggest problem, and then the secondary problems are these JavaScript navigation. The other thing you probably want to do is put that same navigation in the footer of the site with hot links. So you can use the anchoring, textual anchoring to those various sub pages. We got.
Get those menus. Is that just an option in Mozilla, or like the
Which
page rank?
this is the Google toolbar. If you go to toolbar.google.com, you can download the Google toolbar for either IE or Firefox. I actually like the way it looks better in IE because the PageRank bar is sideways. For some reason, when they did the Firefox version, they created this really stubby meter, which is almost impossible to read. When you roll over it, it tells you what the number is, but it's just not as easy to use. Anybody else have a site they want to do? So here you got what looks like a 6. That's not too bad. I would replace the click here's with something that was a little more descriptive, right? Because you've basically got the potential for anchor power, but you're wasting it on click here. Matter of fact, the #1 site on the internet for click here is Adobe, because most people, when they serve up PDFs, they say, if you want a PDF reader, click here. So Google's like, damn, this site is really important for click here. You know, it just, again, shows you the importance. Let's see if it still is. But it was last time I looked. So, you know, this text and this text is embedded in the image, right? So the search engines don't know about it. Now, it may be reused somewhere else on the page, so it may not be a big problem. I'd probably go a little heavier on copy. This copy is also written for brochures, right? No matter how prepared you are is not something people search for. Neither is whether you're a sole proprietor. Neither is helping you to grow your business. Those are all sort of brochure-style copy. If you wanted to really write copy specific to, you know, personal disability insurance or business disability insurance, I'd want to write it with that as my leading word, right? Personal disability insurance can protect you and your family against unforeseen blah, 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 right? Same thing with business disability insurance. So, but copy always gets repurposed, right? It usually gets written for a brochure, and then the cut and paste is so easy. So, you know, once you start to think about copy from the perspective of a search engine and what you really want to come up high for, you know, you can really start to change your spin of your copy. You know, in this case, you know, we did the personal DI. We have a little bit of a breadcrumb here, so that's pretty good. My guess is if we go deeper into the, again, you're missing link opportunities here. Read more is probably almost as important as click here from the perspective. Actually, it's interesting. You've got Adobe #1, XE, who I never heard about before, but is a currency converter, and then Apple's QuickTime. Those are, and Macromedia Flash. Those are all the people that probably don't have the word click here on their sites at all, but are all coming up really high. Actually, this one does, #2. You can actually see they've got the word click here was in their copy, but all the other ones probably just achieved that score through external links. So, now maybe replacing your read mores with something a little bit more descriptive, and your click here's.
Like what?
You know, so for Provider Plus, instead of read more, I'd make this more on Provider Plus, right? Because then at least you're including the name of the brand or the name of the product in there, or more on whatever Provider Plus is, if it's, you know, universal life or a disability policy. Just, you know, think about a way to weave it into your navigation. Let's take a quick look at the other one. This one, also PageRank of 5. This is probably a Flash movie. No, what is this? This must be DHTML or an animated. That's an animated GIF or something. So, this is unreadable to the search engine, whatever's here. So is that. We'd have to double check to see whether or not this navigation is in fact spider friendly. We could view the source. See, I don't think so, because I think this JavaScript here is the navigation. So probably means that it can't find it, unless it's this. Can't really tell. I'm not that good at HTML anymore, especially with cascading style sheets. What is good about it is, though, these anchor links are pretty descriptive, right? They may be a little. Is this B2C or B2B? B2B. All right. So for B2B, those words mean something. For me, they don't really mean much. Yes. So that's good. This iframe, I'd probably do away with that and try to think of another way to get this content out there, because chances are this content was probably missed. So one way to tell would be, we can take a piece of that and look for it and just see whether or not Google found anything that had that phrase in there. Okay, so it's on the products page too, and it's on the sensor pressure page, and actually for some reason high beam research seems to have something relating to it. But on the home page it didn't find it because it was in the iframe. So if it's important enough to keep what's new floated out on that home page, which I would say it is, because by changing it more frequently, you might actually get the spider to visit more often. I would consider putting that in a table or something. You can see the engine visited. You can see what date by looking at the cache. So fairly recently, September 19th is when Google visited it. This pull-down menu, because it's being used as part of a search, it's no big deal. But if this were more important navigation, I would say then change it. But because it's only being used as part of a search function, not as big of a deal. I might want to duplicate some of this navigation in the footer as well, just to provide some anchor link driven navigation to the various pages of the site. That'll probably help float those up more. If you the other thing, let's do a we can do a backward links. So let's assume you want to see sort of who's linking to externally and internally. There's a total of 53 links. Most of them, it usually starts with the internal ones, but you can also see who your external links are right now. You can also do a site command and see. Well, this also tells you pretty much how it's seeing your site now, but the site command is more accurate. You can see your titles are pretty good. They're all unique. I don't see repeating titles. It seems like somebody went through the trouble of at least naming every page differently. You've got a fair number of PDFs on there as well. So, overall not too bad. There are a few things though I would fix. How many pages do you have? Do you know? Including PDFs. Yeah, because it's got about 220 total pages. So there may be some that the spider's not finding that you could float up closer to the surface. So it's 4 o'clock. So if anybody has any additional questions that they didn't want to share with in the audience, feel free to ask me. We're moving to the ballroom tomorrow, so that we'll have more room, because apparently they didn't expect everybody to show, and then everybody showed, and plus we had a few walk-ins. So it was a little tight today. I apologize for that. We'll get it better. I don't know. I haven't found it yet either. I assume it's down the hall or whatever. It's like got to be on this floor probably. There'll be signs to it. Thanks.